Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. I want you to think about a deep desire that you have, something that you would prefer to happen in your life. Oftentimes we look at what's going on and wish that something was better. What would that better be? What would it look like? If someone could wave a magic wand over your life, what would you create? There's something that you want, something deep in your heart, something that you believe would make you happy. What is that desire? When you have a deep desire for something, rather than dismissing it, I challenge you to focus on it, not the lack of it, not why you're missing it or what excuses or reasons there are because it's not here, but what would it be? Why do you want it so much? And it doesn't even matter why you want it. I just encourage you to think about what it is that you really want. Take a deep breath in and allow your body to relax. Allow your mind to calm down. Allow your central nervous system to relax. Take a deep breath in and another deep breath in and let it go gently. That signals to yourself that you are safe in the universe. You can trust yourself. It's going to be all right. What is it that you desire? Allow yourself to get into that feeling of well-being, eager anticipation, a little bit of excitement. What's it like? What's it like to have what you really want? What would that be for you? In Neville Goddard's book, The Power of Awareness, last week I read the chapters I Am and Consciousness and Power of Assumption, assuming the wish fulfilled. What would it be like if what you wished for became your life, became your experience? And today I'll talk about desire. The changes which take place in your life as a result of your changed concept of yourself always appear to the unenlightened to be the result not of a change of your consciousness, but of chance, outer cause, or coincidence. If you focus on what you really desire and you become that, people who know you, people who have met you before or spent their life with you, they're going to think that this is something miraculous. People that have never met you before are going to think that you're just lucky. But Neville Goddard says the only fate governing your life is the fate determined by your own concepts, your own assumptions. For an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. My mentor, Bob Proctor, used to say, if you tell yourself a lie long enough, you're going to believe it. It's going to become true for you. And if you think about negative thoughts that have revolved around your head for years, they harden into fact. They become reality. So why not do that with what you prefer, what you would love? If you say to yourself, I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy, my life is unfolding in miraculous ways. I love life and life loves me. If it's a lie, but you relax and say it often enough and say it with enthusiasm, it becomes true for you. So, whatever it is that you really want, the more you focus on how it would feel, what it would look like, pretending in your mind that it's already your physical reality, and you talk about it to yourself over and over and over. An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. Bob Proctor would say that you are a spiritual being. You have been gifted with an intellect, and you're living in a physical body. You're a triune human being. You're not your body, you're not your thoughts, but you are a divine spark of energy residing in this human costume at this period of time. Through your human hands, you can bring into your experience whatever you persist in. The ideal you seek and hope to attain will not manifest itself. It will not be realized by you until you have imagined that you are already that ideal. Neville Goddard says there is no escape for you except by a radical psychological transformation of yourself, except by your assumption of the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Therefore, make results or accomplishments the crucial test of your ability to use your imagination. Everything depends on your attitude toward yourself. That which you will not affirm as true of yourself can never be realized by you, for that attitude alone is the necessary condition by which you realize your goal. All transformation is based upon suggestion, and this can work only where you lay yourself completely open to an influence. Neville Goddard says you must abandon yourself to your ideal as a woman abandons herself to love. For complete abandonment of self, complete abandonment to self, to it, is the way to union with your ideal. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled until your assumption has all the sensory vividness of reality. Visualize it. Sandy Gallagher would call it visioneering. She said, visioneering is where you truly begin to create your world through the effective use of your imagination. You create and hold the image of what you want. Now, this is not selfish or greedy. It's part of the expansion of the universe. And the expansion, Bob Proctor said, the universe is always for expansion and fuller expression. Get into the habit of making others feel good about themselves. When you make it a habit to practice visualizing your life as you would prefer it and feeling good and making other people feel good, more good comes to you. When you're relaxed, When you're in a feeling of well-being, your good starts to accelerate. The more good you do for others, the more good returns to you. And it's the universal principle. What you put out comes back to you. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled until your assumption has all the sensory vividness of reality. You must imagine that you are already experiencing what you desire. Neville Goddard says that is, you must assume the feeling of the fulfillment of your desire until you are possessed by it. And this feeling crowds out all other ideas out of your consciousness. The man who is not prepared for the conscious plunge into the assumption of the wish fulfilled in the faith that it is the only way to the realization of his dream is not yet ready to live consciously by the law of assumption, although there is no doubt that he does live by the law of assumption unconsciously. But for you who accept this principle and are ready to live by consciously assuming that your wish is already fulfilled, the adventure of life begins. To reach a higher level of being, you must assume a higher concept of yourself. If you will not imagine yourself as other than what you are, then you remain as you are. For if ye believe not that I am he, ye shall die in your sins. If you do not believe that you are he, the person that you want to be, then you remain as you are. Through the faithful, systematic cultivation of the feeling of the wish fulfilled, desire becomes the promise of its own fulfillment. The assumption of the feeling of the wish fulfilled makes the future dream a present fact. Doesn't that sound easy? Doesn't that sound fun? The assumption of the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You assume that what you wish for, what you hope for, is yours. It makes whatever you wish for, your future dream, it hardens into fact. It becomes your physical experience. The assumption of the physical, the assumption of the feeling of the wish fulfilled makes the future dream a present fact. Well, that just sounds simple. It sounds too good to be true. It sounds easy. But then life gets in the way. You decide that you want something. You have a deep desire. You know what you want. Write it down as a present fact. Whatever came to your mind, whatever you visualized, whatever you wished for or hoped for, what would that look like? Take another deep breath in and release that and do some writing. There's one thing that you want more than anything. You might be pretending that you don't want it. You might be thinking that you can't have it. You might be worried that it's too much. Just write it down. You could take a clean sheet of paper or whatever note or sticky note is handy. You might have a beautiful journal that you write in every day. Bob Proctor would ask us to write, I am so happy and so grateful now that, And then whatever the deep desire is, put it down and set it as a goal. And then write it on a card, a goal card, a little laminated card that you could carry around with you. And every time you reach into your pocket or your purse and you touch this little goal card, your deep desire would flash on the screen of your mind. Just one sentence that would explain the beautiful picture of your heart's desire. I am so happy and grateful now that whatever it is, you're on that trip around the world, experiencing all the beautiful ports of call, all the wonders of the world, everything that you want to see. You're there now. What are you seeing? What are you experiencing? Where are you? And then how to get there comes to your mind. You attract all the resources, all the money that you need. It just happens. Your subconscious goes looking for ways to match your beautiful desire when you're in alignment with your goal. What you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're believing, it comes true for you physically. Assume the feeling that you would if the goal was already accomplished. Your deepest desire, you're living it out now. How are you feeling? If you had what you wanted, how grateful would you be? Tears of joy might be streaming down your face. It is so powerful when you put yourself in that place of already having your deep desire. The energetic frequency is being sent out from your body into the invisible ether, into the universal energy. And you are magnetizing yourself to attract whatever it is that you need for this beautiful desire, this goal to happen in your physical reality. Now, in The Power of Awareness, written by Neville Goddard, chapter 5 is the truth that sets you free. Neville Goddard says the drama of life is a psychological one in which all the conditions, circumstances, and events of your life are brought to pass by your assumptions. Everything you assume, everything you believe is true, is real, happens to you. It must, otherwise you'd think you were crazy. So if you have a goal and you write it on a card and you sit every day and think about it and get yourself into alignment, in tune with that feeling as if it's already yours, it must happen. Don't dismiss it. Don't figure out the how. Just allow it. Neville Goddard says, since your life is determined by your assumptions, you are forced to recognize the fact that you are either a slave to your assumptions or their master. To become the master of your assumptions is the key to undreamed of freedom and happiness. You can attain this mastery by deliberate, conscious control of your imagination. You determine your assumptions in this way. Form a mental image a picture of the state desired of the person you want to be. Concentrate your attention upon the feeling that you are already that person. First, visualize the picture in your consciousness, in your conscious mind. Then feel yourself to be in that state as though it actually formed your surrounding world. By your imagination, that which was a mere mental image is changed into a seemingly solid reality. This great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention firmly and repeatedly focused on the object to be accomplished. It cannot be emphasized too much that by creating an ideal within your mental sphere, by assuming that you are already that ideal, you identify yourself with it and thereby transform yourself into its image. This was called by the ancient teachers subjection to the will of God, or resting in the Lord. And the only true test of resting in the Lord is that all who do rest are inevitably transformed into the image of that in which they rest. You become according to your resigned will. And your resigned will is your concept of yourself and all that you consent to and accept as true. You assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and continuing therein, take upon yourself the results of that state. Not assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are ever free from the results. Did you hear that? If you don't assume your wish is already fulfilled, you would never receive those results. Neville Goddard says, when you understand the redemptive function of imagination, you hold in your hands the key to the solution of all your problems. Every phase of your life is made by the exercise of your imagination. Determined imagination alone is the means of your progress, of the fulfilling of your dreams. It is the beginning and end of all creating. The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention, firmly and repeatedly focused on the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it fills the mind and crowds all other ideas out of consciousness. What greater gifts could be given you than to be told the truth that will set you free? The truth that sets you free is that you can experience in imagination what you desire to experience in reality. And by maintaining this experience in imagination, your desire will become an actuality. You are limited only by your uncontrolled imagination and your lack of attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When the imagination is not controlled and the attention not steadied on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, then no amount of prayer or piety or invocation will produce the desired result. When you can call up at will whatsoever image you please, when the forms of your imagination are as vivid to you as the forms of nature, you are master of your fate. Visions of beauty and splendor, forms of a long-lost race, sounds and faces and voices from the fourth dimension of space, and on through the universe, boundless, our thoughts go lightning-shod. Some call it imagination, and others call it God. What are you focusing your imagination on? When you can call up at will whatever image you please, when the forms of your imagination are as vivid to you as the forms of nature, you are master of your fate. Believe and you receive. What you place your attention on becomes your reality. Imagine how beautiful your desired goal is, how much you really believe in that result, that accomplishment. Whatever you believe in becomes your reality. So if you understand that there are infinite possibilities, infinite possibilities. The ending has not yet been written. So if you write the ending, you write what you want, you get yourself into the vibrational energy of what it would feel like to already be that. You become that. Where you place your attention, what you're practicing imagining, what you're rehearsing in your mind, causes your body to take action. And the actions that you take result in your world, your physical reality. Write out what you want. Practice talking about it. Rehearse it as if you're a Hollywood movie star and this is your role. Practice it until that role is your life. You are the actor in your life. What role are you playing? Assume the wish fulfilled and watch how fast it becomes your reality. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Write it, read it, think about it, act as if, and what you want must become your reality. That's how it works. Think, feel, act from your goal already attained. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.